crab together. They might as well go together. So hopefully somebody brought some melted butter. But let's check out this Skokomish and give one away as well.
Well, first
what do you
off,
think of this mech?
I'm not a big Zeus fan, so I feel like this is not targeted at me.
What do you mean?
I know, but here's the thing. This is one thing I will admit. Since the skill tree introduction and the ability to dump more into survivability, people have been loving it, and the Zeus is loose bandit. I know you, all of these guys that like it. It's not my fave, so I'm gonna showcase it. I'm gonna show what I would do with it. But that being said, I did play the Zeus, what was it, 3 weeks ago? And surprisingly quite effective. I don't know why I say surprisingly. Well, I mean, it's in the same category, right? Awesome, Victor. But the one thing it has on its as far as table is a ton of survivability. So
the Skoko can survive. It's a durable mech, the Skoko.
All right, so let's go dive in here. I mean, aesthetics. You know, again, I think it's in the eye of the beholder. I mean, if you dig the Zeus, you probably dig this. I mean,
those
are you?
Shoulders, man.
Are you? Do you want to go ahead? You tell me how you feel, Darren, about this.
I actually like the Zeus, and maybe it's from previous games or whatever, but there's something about that look. It's almost got like, is it the Thug?
Yeah.
You know, does the Thug have those shoulders too? I feel like it does.
There's a mech that would be really cool seeing.
Know, right?
Wink, wink. Hey, Russ.
Wink, wink. Thug.
Do you know why the Zeus does have a little bit of a special place in my heart? Just a little bit.
Because it's named after a god? I don't know. Why?
No. MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries intro.
Yeah.
Right?
So
like,
that's what I'm saying. It might be previous games that make me like it as well, including Mech 4 Mercenaries. So it's the Mercenaries games, I guess.
All right, so yeah, I think for the most part, of course, what does the Zeus have compared to the others in an 80-ton bracket? It's got a combination missile, energy, and ballistic in the arms. Very similar to, I would say, obviously the Victor, but albeit it's normally on left side heavy, and it's got the power fist. We all know about that. So let's go dive into the Mech Lab and check this thing out, see what we're dealing with. Before we get started again, this is the quirks, and this is where the Zeus in particular, since the skill tree revamp, has shown promise, right? It's the ability to be able to take one hell of a punch and get in there and love. Structure across the board, heat gen, we do have some laser duration, and this is standard ER. What I think is interesting with that too is how that quirk will be applied next month with Civil War tech. Some ballistic cooldown quite high, I mean 15, generally speaking. Most of them are 10 out there. Some velocity, or I should say energy cooldown of 15 and ballistic of 15. So what does this have? It's got 1 ballistic, 2 energy, 4 missile, 1 AMS, no ECM. So let's go dive in here. Again, sort of showcasing what it's capable of. Max engine, we've got a 400. Let me double check on that. I don't want to spin you guys something here that it's not. I do believe this may be the largest engine, max engine. Yep, because all the others are 390. Now, granted, I don't know if you'd put in a 400, but you can also. One thing that's different about this particular variant compared to the rest is the mask. So you've got that right there. It is 4 tons, takes up 4 slots, but on a 80 tonner, that's got pretty good agility.
This is the fastest Zeus thing.
Yeah, that accompanying with the 400. I mean, it still leaves you. I mean, let's max that armor here.
This is like the bolt of the Zeus's bolt. Ooh, I like that.
Right, the lightning
the
bolt.
Fist.
Yeah, that's very fitting. See what you did there. All right, let me, it is down armored or under armored, so let me go ahead. I feel like that needs to be adjusted first. All right, so there is one thing that can be said about the missile hardpoints. They're not the best in regards to being right-sided. I feel like, again, if you're a brawler, it probably won't be too bad, but let's just go ahead and take a quick look at, if we do like 4 SRM6s really quick. Like some of the other Zeuses have the power fist, right? Where they have all the weapons on the right fist. So you can see here, 2 missile hardpoints on the left torso are high mount, and of course, I would say midline in the arm, right? It's not below the waistline, but it's definitely midline. I don't think that'll hurt this particular variant, but that's one thing to note. You'd want to hit shift and snap your reticle for the convergence, or if you do have SRMs and LRMs, of course, then you don't really have to worry about that, but you have at least a little bit of viability with movement of the arms, but that desync between those. But it's offset, I think, again, with the mask and the larger engine and the survivability quirks. I mean, it doesn't have a whole lot of energy here, so I could see like a dual large pulse, you know, something to that regard. Again, 400 engine is quite large. Most builds and most players probably wouldn't take that, just because it just eats so much tonnage up, right? So you do have some options. Dual large pulse. You may even ignore the ballistic entirely, go with more of a brawler. Yeah, actually, I could probably potentially see this, especially with some tonnage here. I'd say 5 tons. Throw on an extra double. Might as well crit pad that. Now with LFEs coming across the board, it is going to change the setups. In this regard, I think you'd probably take an LFE, you'd go a little bit slower, but allow you to take a few others. But yeah, let me go trip this really quick. Another thing to note on the ballistic is you do have a lower arm actuator. You don't have a hand actuator, so that does help, but you can't fit an AC2 or an AC20. You can fit a Gauss, so there is that. So again, just to sort of toss this out there again, with Civil War tech, I do think, well, all the IS mechs for the most part, I don't think it'll affect lights as much, because most lights I think will still go XLs. But for assaults, especially from mediums and above, LFEs I think might be the sort of go-to, right? Be able to take that amount of firepower, be able to have the survivability. And this would be a prime example. You can shield with your right, lose your right torso, and you still have the majority of your weapon systems. You could do LB with 4 SRM6s with art. That could be something as well, with a backup of like 2 small, or even actual flamers. I mean, shut down your opponent. I've been having too much fun with those. You can do that. Put a little bit of pressure. Again, going to probably about, what, a 340. Because
flamers are pretty, they work in the 1v1s. You know, we do the Masters Challenge. Those flamers are crazy.
And as far as it would give you enough tonnage. Here, let me go ahead do speed tweak just so we can see that value again, because I do think you'd want to, just like all the other mechs I've been running, I've mentioned this every single day of the stream. I do this. I know some people don't value that top speed. I do. If you don't, that's on you. It is all right. But I think in the case of a brawler, Zeus, you want all the maneuverability you can, and you want the top speed as you can. So
you missed a speed tweak there.
Did I? I did. Thank you. So 74 kph with, again, I think what you could do here is 5 tons of ammo. 3, 4, 5, and then obviously LB. You do run in a little bit of crit space here. I don't think that's as much of a problem. 2 tons for the LB I think would be good. And the reason being, oh, well, I don't have a mask. That's another thing too. So yeah, you may have to adjust. Maybe even 4s. So there's that. And again, I'm not a big Zeus pilot, so I'm probably not the best one in regards to tell you what will or won't work. I think SRM4s would actually probably be better in this regard.
And that's really the fun of it. When it comes out tomorrow, everybody doing the science, they put their builds up, and the good builds will rise to the top, I'm sure. And, of course, next month, like we keep mentioning, all that's going to be...
well, we're going to have IS...
subject to change.
IS UAC 10s, UAC 20s, LBs as well, 20s.
So much.
So, I don't know if LB 20s... Yeah, LB 20s I don't think would fit anyway, but I think...
MRMs.
Yep. Actually, that's a nice point. Instead of this being a brawler...
on that left hand.
it could be MRMs instead of.
Yeah.
Um,
So many options.
so I think if anything, the strength would be the missile hardpoints. The other ones again have a good combination. For here, I'm just gonna take a look for yep. Let's see 9S. So it's 9S2 is the yeah. So this is the only Zeus with 4 missile, but it is split. So I think if you did 4 SRM4s, maybe even a LB10. I think maybe 4 tons of ammo would be good, because what you could do is you could pick up on the skill tree on the firepower. So maybe we do that instead. 330. Oh yeah, that gives us actually plenty, even with mask. Yeah, I think we could do that. 1, 2, 3. We have 3 tons left over. I think just dropping it into a larger engine here, maybe even a 360. And that is with mask as well. Probably drop.
Grim, yes, it's very likely that we will do a preview on the new tech as well as soon as it becomes
I can already tell you
available for us.
That'll happen. I think that'll work. Yeah, you could do something like that. 4 SRM4s, that'll be 10, and the mask. Now, again, that is one feature this has. Let's save this, and then the skill tree wise, heat efficiency is pretty damn good, 1.64. So the first thing that pops in my head is, instead of dumping it into operations, I do think you could probably dump it into firepower instead. This mech does come with armor quirks, comes with internal structure. So keep in mind, you don't necessarily have to do the armor, but I think the benefits are there, just making it a little bit more tanky. Yeah, Prometheus, are you calling it now? Any PTS? That's a good question. We can definitely inquire about that, if they're going to do a PTS before it goes live. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. All right, and then I think the rest would go into firepower. I mean, really...
You know what Jay-Z likes to do with these Zeus? He likes to make Hellboy builds. He puts all the crap in that right fist. He paints his mech bright red. Yep, his Zeuses are the Hellboy builds.
Now, I did ignore the energy slots on here, so that is one thing you could potentially do. You could drop... again, yeah, probably you could drop that. You could do 2 medium lasers, or if you wanted to, small pulse. You could even, again, do the flamers, as I mentioned before. You could do that as well. So it's really what you decide. I think 2 mediums wouldn't be absurd, just to pick up on the tonnage there. And with this particular mech, I don't think spread is necessarily as needed, especially with SRM4s with art. Velocity would help. A ballistic cooldown, or a ballistic magazine cap would help. And we're almost there anyway. I'd probably just say... probably just cooldown here. Something like that. That's what I would probably do. And it would know our operations all entirely. So anyways, let's try this out.
Of course, your builds may vary, and that's part of the fun, figuring out what you like to do with it.
I'm going to show you guys really quick before we drop primary colors. I figured go with the lightning bolt theme. Okay, so this is primary is down here. Secondary is at the feet here. And then the tertiary is the top. Probably do that instead. Make it pink. All right, so there you have it. All right, let's go drop this. I want to see. Testing grounds, canyon.
And if you'd like to be eligible to win this mech, if you'd like to enter, hashtag Skokomish right now in chat.
Hey Darren, do you have coffee?
I do. I do.
Cheers to everyone here. Again, we're just testing out the new hero, the Zeus, the Skoko.
Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you have a good week.
So... Oh, I do have mask on that.
Yeah. Zoom, zoom.
All right. So with mask, 89 kph. If you're ever curious, by the way, I have my mask set for mouse up and then cancel mouse up as well. You can do mouse up, mouse up, mouse down. That is also an option for you.
Target acquired.
Let's see what we got. Keep in mind, because of the range quirks on this, look at the missile, 299 meters. Now, granted, velocity obviously is important in that regard, but you also have 599. So, yeah.
Destroyed. New target acquired.
So almost. I want to see what the spread is at 299. Let's go 298. It's actually not bad considering it's 299 meters. Generally speaking, Darren, do you run your as brawlers, your Zeus as brawlers, or?
Target destroyed.
No, I have I don't typically run them much. I actually have one build. It's like I was saying, the Hellboy, the Hellboy build with the best LRMs, but it's just a mess around mech. It's not symmetrical, man, and I love those symmetrical builds.
Is that what it is? Does it like your OCD kicks in and you're like,
It's not as easy for me to run the Zeus, but I do like the look of it. So aesthetically, I enjoy the mech.
Almost reminds me a little bit of like with the antennae and the cockador, like the tick for some reason.
Yeah.
Cartoon, I don't know why.
Because the tick is big and stocky as well.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. I am enjoying saying the name Skokomish. Better, it's easier for me to pronounce than that Mjolnir.
And again, just to toss this out here, guys, look at my heat with the alphas. It really is manageable. I mean,
yep.
You could even throw on a cool shot for your consumable. Oh, turn on my mask.
Target destroyed.
When are you guys gonna reveal the Thanatos? What? Never, dude. Just because you brought it up now. Thanks, man. Way to ruin it for the rest of us.
Target acquired.
I think really it comes down to, Darren, just LFEs. I think will change the game for
Target destroyed.
most of the assaults and heavies on the IS side of things. I mean, that's one of the sacrifices, right? The standard engine gives you the survivability, but you lack on firepower potentially and or top, speed, overall speed. Well then, now with LFEs on the horizon, you can get sort of a middle ground where you get the survivability and you can survive a blowout torso. And that's always been the issue with ISXLs compared to Clan. So now you've got at least a 1-to-1 in that regard. and it'll allow the IS heavies and assaults to actually bring the firepower and have a decent amount of speed and maneuverability. And I know we keep preaching this, guys, as far as in the past, but it's right on the horizon. I think it's something to point out how important it is for a lot of these mechs.
It's a game changer, and it's only a month away.
Right.
Which is zipped on by, so I'm super excited about it, man. Next month's patch is going to be crazy. Expect to see a lot of people coming back and trying out all the new tech. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting patch.
A part of me is sort of disappointed I can't do an AC-20 on this, just because I would do an AC-20. It would be a mini Atlas.
Yep.
I would do an AC-20, 4 SRM4s, and 2 flamers.
Zaku, yes, we're completely aware of all the sound mods. Nothing we can do to endorse them, but it's our policy right now to kind of look the other way.
You can do whatever you want. I
do what
can't
you want.
though.
Yep.
Mini spirit bat, yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why they can't be officially endorsed, but mostly it's, you know, trademarking sounds and audio and so forth. But anyway,
Target acquired.
you have fun.
We'll live vicariously through you.
Indeed.
And there is a
When
new
I watch streamers.
kill sound effect there.
Yeah,
that
there's some new sounds here.
I can't confirm nor deny what you're hearing is gonna be in the
Speaking of
release.
audio, though, you know, we were just talking about all the upcoming weapons next month. There's new audio,
Acquired.
Yep.
so there'll be a lot of new sounds for people to listen
Oh,
to.
that's too far away. You know what? Also we can showcase in the next mech. We have changes coming to HPG. Did you read that?
I did.
Which is actually funny enough. I didn't know about that, and literally last week
Called it.
I was mentioning, you know, it'd be really cool if we had different entrances,
Yeah.
so it wasn't just the 4. So, anyways, guys, here is the Skokomish. I do believe it does have some lore behind it, and at least, if not, it is based on a Native American, tribe. I think that's what someone was just saying, which would make sense considering the name. This is.
By the way, we mentioned the patch notes. If you want to check them out, MWOmercs.com. Patch notes are up, so you can see what's happening tomorrow.
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna stand here for a second, allow you to do your giveaway, and we're just gonna enjoy mech
We're
porn.
going to look at the beauty. Hashtag Skokomish right now while we sit here and gaze at this Thor's beauty. Zeus, I meant. And all these Greek gods are
Are you?
they Greek?
Is it a Freudian slip there? Is that what you
It was.
you're doing?
Well, we were doing Mjolnir, which is Thor's hammer. Then we got the Zeus. I don't know, man. All these deities around me.
Just too confusing. All these guys.
And
just
also,
running
I was
around.
trying to find the patch notes, and I wasn't thinking. Anyway, hashtag Skokomish. Give you a few more seconds.
Thor would be a cool mech. We haven't seen that officially since MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries.
Indeed.
There was Flashman as well, and
Maybe that was dropping a hint. I don't know.
Hey, Russ.
I did post the patch notes there in chat if anybody wants to see.
Darren.
Yes,
Coffee's amazing.
coffee is God. I have that magnet on my refrigerator. All right, let's do this. Let's give away a Skokomish, not a Thor. Let's give away a Zeus, the Skokomish hero. The winner, the first winner for today.
Who's it gonna be? Good luck, whoever it is. You lucky bastard. Oh, say that name.
Samadhi Void. I'm going to go with Void. Void, are you there? You got 60 seconds to let me know.
Maybe it's Sam Audi Void.
I think it's Samadhi Void.
Congratulations, man.
Almost as hard to say as Mjolnir.
It's easier to just say, Thor's hammer than it is just a.
40 seconds, Void.
So for there he is. Go ahead.
Nope. I'm gonna whisper
good?
Void. Go
All
for
right,
it. Yeah,
cool.
talk.
I was gonna say, for those that enjoy the Zeus, this is probably gonna be something different. 4 missile does change the game here. Unfortunately, it isn't all in the right arm like one of the other variants as far as the 3, but with 4 split across the torso, you notice there really wasn't as much of an issue, especially when you were hitting shift and focusing your arm reticle onto the CT reticle. Obviously, the mask does offer some agility there. there was a change to the base agility of a lot of mechs. So in this particular case, with I think a 350 engine, going 79 kph. Before I open my mouth here, let's see top speed. Yeah, 76.2, and with mask engaged 89.1. Also keep in mind is when you do have mask engaged, it enhances your XL, DXL, turn rate, and all that. But this thing feels pretty responsive as is. And then again, is only to get the speed tweak. That's the only agility added. So yeah.
Hey, real quick, Samadhi Void, please whisper me back. I whispered you. It's /W, then my name. Let me know your pilot name, and then we'll move on to the next mech.
Oh, coffee.
Coffee.
Coffee. So as far as a 80 tonner as well, I think the Zeus is in a better shape anyways than like most of the Awesomes. That's the thing, right? I mean, it's got a smaller profile, right? It's got the survivability quirks on top of that smaller profile. The one thing it doesn't have when you compare it to like the Victor is it doesn't have jump jets, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing in all the cases. But it is something to be aware of out there. But yeah.
We can go ahead and move on to the next one. I'll
we're
work
good?
it out with Samadhi.
Okay, cool.
So we're moving to the Mauler.